In the previous video, we created the sparks effect, and today we add smoke to it and finalize our simple explosion. So let's move on to create the smoke explosion. To create the smoke, we use a similar setup to sparks. So I duplicate the sparks object, rename it to smoke explosion. Make sure to duplicate the geo setup by clicking on this 2 button. Otherwise, you will overwrite the previous sparks setup. I call this setup smoke. Let's hide the sparks one and the ground plane. So, to start making the smoke, first I want these points to emit for a few frames, not just on frame 10. So, I set this to greater than or equal. Now you can see we are feeding the points into the simulation every frame, creating trails. By the way, if you are interested in making trails effect, check these videos out. To stop the points from spawning after some time, I duplicate this compare node, set it to 20. At frame 20, I want to stop feeding the points, so I change this to less than or equal. Now I want to find the time period that is true to both of these logic. Frame number should be greater than or equal to 10, but it cannot go beyond 20. To find that, I can use add boolean math node. This outputs true only when both inputs are true. So I plug them into each input and plug the output into our switch node. Now when I play the animation, you can see we started emitting particles at frame 10 and stopped that after frame 20. But all of our particle trails seems uniform, following the same line. I want to randomize that. One way we can do that is by changing the particles distribution on the mesh surface every frame. We can use this seed value for that. I plug a scene time frame node. This will change the seed number every frame, giving us a random distribution of points, which will add a variety to the trails. Then I want to add a bit more noise to the points movement. For that, I make some space here and duplicate this set position node. Add a noise texture. I drag from its color and add a map range node and set these to -1. This will make 0 to 1 range values coming from the noise texture go from -1 to 1. This way we can add noise for all directions. Plug a scale node after that to control the strength of the noise. Plug its output to offset. Now you can play with the scale value and noise texture properties to find values that works for you. You can keep this downward movement if you want, but here I remove it. Instead of that, I add some movement to go up. For that, I duplicate this normalize edge attribute. By the way, you can collapse nodes by hitting Ctrl H. It will help with organizing nodes. I want the particles or the smoke to go up after some time. So I add a float curve to adjust the influence. I make it like this for now and add a multiply node after that. And since I want to use this only for Z axis, I add a combine XYZ node and plug this into Z socket. This gives me a vector value that I can plug to offset. You might need to adjust the float curves to get the exact look you want for the simulation. Also for the smoke, I will increase the edge. It definitely needs a bit of adjustments. Now let's turn these into smoke. To turn these into smoke, you can use a few methods. You can turn this into some mesh and then turn that mesh into volume, or directly turn these points into volume. Here I directly turn them into volume. I delete these nodes, we don't need them. Then add points to volume node. Now if I view this, you can see we have volume in the scene. you can change the radius to change the volume point radius. Density controls the thickness of the volume, and voxel amount will add more details to your smoke. Here I can use the normalized edge attribute again and adjust it like this to make the volume radius go up with the edge. For the volume material, I remove this and make a new material. Assign it here. Now in the shade editor, I remove the principal node again. Add principal volume node and plug that into volume socket. We can bring the density of the volume from the geometry nodes by adding a volume info node. Plug this density into density here and remove this attribute. Now if you are in Eevee, you can enable volumetric shadows in render settings. Decrease the tile size for better resolution and adjust the start and end value depending on your viewing distance. This way we can only see the volume between 0.1 to 25 meters from our viewing point. This will help to get the best volumetric results in that range. To improve it a bit more, add a multiply node here, add a noise texture and hold Ctrl T to get these nodes. We don't need the mapping node. Plug object coordinates into vector socket. Now I drag from noise texture factor and add a color ramp node. Plug that to multiply node. This way I can add a bit more noise to the volume. It will help to reduce the spherical volume shapes. Here's a before and after. You can change the smoke color from here. Actually, you can create this smoke effect in another way. Instead of making the smoke from scratch, you can use the sparks to drive the smoke sim. For that, simply duplicate the smoke explosion object and the modifier. We don't need all of these. Then from here, add the sparks geo setup we created earlier. Plug a group input node to geometry. Since we have instances in there, you can convert them back to points by using instance to points node. Plug that to join geometry node. Then you can disable this force via adding. It already exists in the spark setup and also the gravity if you kept it. Now the smoke will follow the sparks. You can make the smoke using any of those methods. I use the second method in my Rebel Moon animation. If you like to see how I created the muzzle flash effects in the video, let me know in the comment section. And that is how you can create this simple explosion effect in Blender. As usual, project files are available for Patreon members. See you in the next one.